brilliant people. Many happy returns of the season. And so today I thought, as a little Christmas treat, at least I hope you find it a treat, I thought I would go through 10 different Christmas symbols and, like if they appear in your dreams over this season, what do they mean? So let's get into it. So the first one is, of course, the star. So a star is a source of light, but it is obviously up there in the heavens. So a star is a symbol of actually sort of, spiritual awareness. Like it's a symbol of moving towards spiritual awareness. So that's what a star means. So that's great. So the second one is the tree. So what if you dream of the Christmas tree? Well, a tree is, obviously it grows outside. So a tree has got to do with your subconscious, because outside is what your house grows on, and what does your house sit on? It sits on the outside. So, but a tree is an aspect of your subconscious. Of course, if in your dream, your tree is decorated like a Christmas tree, this is an aspect of your subconscious that you've actually put a lot of value on. So this is what the Christmas tree means if it appears in your dreams. So the third one is, now this is not something that we have here in Australia, because here in Australia, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the winter solstice, Christmas is a little bit after the winter solstice. Down here in Australia, it is a little bit after our summer solstice. So we don't get snow around Christmas unless something really bizarre happens. But for those of you who are having a snowy Christmas, fun. But what happens if you get snow? So snow, again, it's very light, but it's also made of water. So water is a symbol of conscious experience. But of course, if it's the snow, and if the snow is falling, that's probably what it represents. But if it's actually snow that's sitting on the ground, so you've got your conscious experience connecting with your subconscious experience. So this is actually a good symbol that the different parts of your mind are starting to integrate. So that's kind of cool. So then the next symbol would be angels. So remembering that in a dream, everything is about you and everything is an aspect of you. So if you dream of an angel, this is obviously a very unfamiliar sort of aspect. It's a little bit, well, let's face it, not human. So this is an aspect of you still, but it's a very unknown aspect. Obviously, depending on your perception of angels, this might be an unknown spiritual aspect. So that's what that means. So the fifth symbol is a wreath. Now, a wreath is obviously a circle. So it may represent some cycle for you, or it being a ring. Rings can sometimes also represent some kind of commitment, because once you start the cycle, you need to then obviously move through it until it's complete. So depending on what that means for you, go with what feels, right for you, what speaks to your intuition. So the sixth symbol is candy cane. It has red and white on it. White is about awareness, red is about emotionality. But, candy cane, it's a sweet. So it's kind of food, but it's food that actually might have some appeal, but it doesn't really sustain you long term. So yeah, I mean, it has, it is knowledge like all food, but it's not really sustaining. So, but it doesn't mean that it's not fun in the short term. The seventh symbol is doves. Now, doves are a kind of bird. Birds fly through the sky. I know that we've talked about before about how animals can be thought forms, but with birds, because they fly, we tend to regard birds as a kind of thought form. So I suppose it depends for you whether you feel that, doves are a bit like pigeons, kind of rats in the sky kind of stuff, as to whether this is, just a thought form that you don't value, or if you believe that, doves are beautiful and spiritual, maybe it is a thought form that has a lot of value for you. So again, go with what feels right for you. The 8th symbol is lights. So lights are generally a symbol of awareness because, of course, if you go into a dark room, it's very hard to perceive what is in there. Turn on the light, it's much easier to be aware of what is in there. So lights themselves are a symbol of awareness. 9 is stockings. Now, stockings are an item of clothing, technically, although most of the stockings that most people use, they've never really been worn. But they still are an item of clothing, but they're an item of clothing. Clothing represents self-expression because it is something that you put on yourself to express who you are. So clothing can be a symbol of self-expression, but of course with a stocking, you use it to put presents in, which is the last symbol. So I'll come to that in a minute. But so it does represent also a container for those presents. And so number 10, presents. So if you're dreaming of presents, presents are about the value that you give. So there you are, 10 Christmas symbols. And so hopefully that some of those appear in your Christmas dreams. If so, let me know below. But whether they do or they don't, have a wonderful time during this festive season. And as always, remember that you're brilliant.